All right, so we are here. It is the 1st of March. Um, for Mile High Metal Hour, we're doing this instead of going to one of the two sweet fucking shows that are happening this week
Yeah,
or
it's
tonight, I should say.
tonight, exactly tonight.
Yep, Dark Funeral and I Hate God are both playing in Denver tonight, so I'm sure those are both going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, could have got free
Right.
tickets too to Dark Funeral and Septic Flesh.
All right, yeah. And what's that Denver band that's opening? Helloboris? Is that how you say it?
That's who's opening. I don't know if that's how you say it or not.
Yeah. So good for them. That's badass.
Yeah,
But anyways, we're going to be talking about Visigoth tonight, and specifically their new record. But we're going to just run through some of the stuff that's come out this year so far that we've been digging. So if you want to start that, Kevin.
yeah, it's been 3 months, two whole months
Yeah.
since we've done this. So, um, 2018 seems to be all set on the metal front for just trying to be a fucking awesome year, while
Right.
the rest of the world just fucking burns around it. So that's fine by me.
Right.
Yeah, first out of the gate this year for me was that new Agrimonia, which was what was burning my ears out until that Visigoth dropped. But
Right.
between Agrimonia and Portal and Tribulation, I think those were the three big ones right out of the year.
Yeah. Hooded Menace and Summoning were also like right out the gates too.
Oh right, Hooded Menace and Summon too. That Hooded Menace one was awesome.
It is really good. I really liked the Summoning at first, but I haven't found myself really going back to it much yet. So
It's not it's not bad. Somebody doesn't make bad albums, but it's very typical, I guess, for them. I guess is a good way of saying it.
right. Maybe it's because it was surrounded by so much other good shit that it just felt like more Summoning rather than holy shit, new Hooded Menace or whatever else.
Right. But it's not to say that they weren't awesome. So,
Nope. Nope. It was really good.
they did change up a little bit. They had a little I don't know how to. It was like a amoebic style vocal going on in this one.
Right.
I don't know where that came from, but
Yeah, it worked.
yeah, there was the new Panfaga I was really getting into. Not so much that new Watain. It didn't really. I was surprised because I'm a big Watain fan. That one didn't really hit me very well, which is odd because the last one was
Right. And
such a difference for them, and I liked it, and I wasn't expecting to. And this one was more back to the sound before that, and I didn't really like it that much.
right. Well, I think we had talked previous to this about it. Maybe some of that being a production issue. It's kind of thin sounding for a band that so often employs that wall of noise type tactic.
Yeah, and I know that they're a black metal band, and people like that shit raw and lo-fi production, but not those guys. Like they need
Right.
that swell of sound around them.
Right. So yeah, I guess that was all January, right?
Pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking here.
yep. And then the Atlas Moth record, that's been big on my end. I've gone back to that quite a few times. Not as much as the Visigoth, but that's right up there for me so far this year. I think I like it because it's everything they do well, like really kind of boiled down to the formula and condensed. Not a lot of meandering and experimenting, just fucking sick riffs and kind of, a little bit of psych, a little bit of stoner vibe. It's good shit, but still really heavy.
I wish I could talk to that more, but I don't know much about Atlas Month enough to talk about him at least.
Right. Oh, Solstice.
Oh yeah, the new Solstice is kind of like came out of nowhere there. I was like, holy
Yep.
shit, this is a new Solstice album, first in fucking 20 years, and of course they're like a 15th of the original band members left, but it's still fucking awesome. Like that's epic doom or whatever they kind of
Right.
made their mark with, but damn, it's really good. It's
Yep.
really, really good. It was funny
Fucking
because
totally.
that Visigoth came out. I got that new King Witch, which is a similar style of music, which is
Right.
pretty good. But it just kind of got. I think it's going to get left behind between Solstice and Visigoth.
Yeah, that's so. I guess I mean, if you've got, do you have anything else? Because I think Visigoth really is just has been like has taken the fuck over.
Yeah, I mean for sure that's the one I've been listening to the most. It comes up the most in my playlist. I don't think I listened to it yesterday, but today I listened to it quite a bit, and I bought the CDs because I knew I would have it in my car all the time, and it hasn't left my CD player since CD showed up. But there's been a lot of good stuff that's kind of I'm gonna have to get back to later in the year once the Visigoth storm is settled.
Right.
Master's Hammer and
Oh yeah.
the
Oh,
Witch.
the Mammoth Grinder too.
Yeah, Mammoth Grinder is fucking rad. The Dream Troll EP is rad. That Rebel Wizard is rad. There's just been a lot of cool stuff coming out. And
I think we've talked about Rebel Wizard before, but man, those guys are so fucking far ahead of the game, and no one is talking about them.
yeah, they're blowing everyone out of the water. Like Visigoth has taken over the traditional metal, but it just as metal in general. Rebel Wizard is fucking running circles around people, doing it so
Right.
casually too. They're just like, oh yeah, here's a new EP, and then
Right.
disappear into the ether again.
Right. And there's like I have trouble even really describing them. Like they like in any way that does it justice. Like it's just fucking it's next level.
Kind of similar, I guess. When the last Visigoth album came out, kind of same phenomenon happened with me. I just listened to
Right.
it endlessly until ever, I guess.
Right.
But I had heard them before that album came out, before Revenant King came out,
Right.
original demo or EP, I forget what it was. I have it here.
Final spell. Final spell. Is that
This one, yeah,
yeah? Final spell. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the reissue though, and it's numbered too. It's fancy, but
Ooh.
yeah, at the time they reminded me a lot of Twisted Tower, Dire, Twisted Tower. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Twist Tower Dire.
Yeah, Twisted Tower, Dire. But I'm not trying to disparage Twisted Tower, Dire, but both of their vocalists have improved massively. But they were kind of like it wasn't quite all the way there yet. It was like, yes, this is really fucking good if they can get some good production here and work
Right.
they'll have something on their hands. And sure enough, that Revenant King came out. I was like, oh fuck, that's what I was hoping would happen.
Right. That and I think one of the tricks with them too is that it's so hooky and so catchy that like even when you're not listening to it, it kind of just like sticks right there in your head, like right up front. And not just like vocal lines, but riffs and melodies and all of it is just like fucking catchy. Every bit of it's catchy.
It was 2015, so that's 3 years ago, almost to a day, 3 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of the big moment I think, for traditional metal rebirth, as what people are going to call it, traditional metal, I guess.
Right. I keep
I heard
hearing
a trendy term for it the other day. It was something like new wave of American, something like that.
right. Well, I've been hearing they've been throwing the word power metal around a lot in the reviews that I've read.
Yeah, and
So,
I don't know if we want to argue about this or not. I don't know. I don't really know if
right.
they're a power metal band or not. So I think of a more, well, especially given the new one. But if we're talking about the last one, I don't know. The last one
Right.
would be more power metal because they had a little more variety, I guess.
Right.
Sound definitely had more of a doom influence in the first album.
Right.
Drawn out songs. But if they are power metal, it's like the early American power metal, like Omen kind of stuff.
Right.
Like minus all the European grandeur,
Right.
symphonics, and all that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's unquestionably American as hell, like for sure. But
I
but
guess we'll see.
yeah, it's they I think that record made it on everyone's list that year or our list that year, and it kind of took over. And you know, what you said, it was about 3 years to the day since it came out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that's a fucking eternity in metal time.
I
Like,
know, especially for a band that doesn't fucking tour, but or
right.
it doesn't tour to the state right next to them. But anyway, we did see them on some tour. I don't know if it was just a random tour promotion that album, but that was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? Or a year and a half ago? I forget.
Yeah, sometime. Fuck.
But that was a killer show. Anyways, so I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, I'm a power metal fan or traditional metal fan.
Right.
Aside from all the black metal noise. Um, and what I think when that album came out, there was, I don't know if it was in full force or if that was when it was starting, but there was a lot more traditional type metal bands showing up. In fact, that tour we saw him on, we are speaking about, was with
Right.
Night Demon. It was another very
Right.
traditional metal band. I don't think they're power metal. I think they're more rock and rollish.
Right.
But then all of a sudden they started popping up everywhere. I mean, I have a whole fucking collection now of these bands that sound very traditional, very 80s, I guess, or
Right.
70s power, metal and very specific genres. Like I know the guys in Visigoth, they're huge, not new wave of British heavy metal, but all the stuff that kind of came after that. Weird
Right.
kind of in between genres bands, but there were no rules to this stuff.
Right.
But what always struck me
Yeah.
about Visigoth was that they have that classic sound, but they don't sound like any of those bands do.
Right. Well, there's a certain like vitality and freshness that they have, and I think when I was explaining this to my wife, I said it's like I feel like all those other bands they kind of say like, oh, remember when this shit was cool, rather, and Visigoth is rather like, oh, this shit is cool. Like
Right.
it doesn't feel throwbacky, like at
Right. Yeah.
even a little bit.
It feels like the next evolution, I guess. I don't know. But you're right. A lot of those bands' foots are firmly in the past, and they're just kind of mimicking older
Right.
style. I think Visigoth is kind of reinventing it, but still, it's hard to say because they're doing so. They don't sound like any of those other bands, but the whole feeling of it is very traditional. I think, based off the new album, I think they're literally the epitome of heavy metal. Like the
Right.
broad term of heavy metal, like did I label like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden? I think that's Visigoth right now.
Right. And like I don't even think it's a stretch to say that like it's kind of weird that we have a band like this now, but I mean they're every bit as good as those bands you just mentioned were in their day. Like they're just it's fucking so good. And what's a good way to put it? Like we never got to be like, teenagers and have something like Priest. Like we didn't come up with that stuff.
Right.
And so
Like weird.
this is so exciting because that's what that is for me. Like fuck, it's ours.
Right. I think when we were teenagers, Priest was Halford wasn't in the band, and like
Yeah, it was
Bruce took
fucking
his
Ripper Owens
Iron
and
Maiden, and like, oh fuck. Like,
right.
when I was listening to it today, what it struck me as was I think it's like our Dio, I guess.
Right.
Because Maiden and Priest, so yeah, they have those fantasy based kind of songs, but Priest is more like, or Iron Maiden's more like, oh, aren't we so literate? We've read all these books and we're
Right.
brilliant. And Priest is kind of like, I don't know, they're just like, here, fucking sweet ass guitar solo, go, like right on.
Right. A little more balls out.
Yeah, a little more metal, I guess.
Right.
I think Visigoth goes way over into the the fantasy element, and
Oh, right.
I think that kind of came from Dio to a certain degree. But yeah, I guess we'll just jump into the new one since we're already there. It's called Conqueror's Oath. With my fancy CD here. Yeah.
Woo!
Speaking of the fantasy element, the first song out of the gate is based on a fucking fantasy book series. I think it's called the Witching or something like that. It
Right.
was a video game series too, but I wouldn't know anything about that. But that song is shit. I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, by Steel and Silver.
Silver, yeah. Fucking best, such a good album opener too. Like it was, you clearly built for that.
Right. It's just like it gets you right into the whole thing, which is cool. Because I never thought they could top like Revenant King. Like,
Right.
an album with Revenant King is fucking phenomenal. But it's right into it, and that's I guess the main thing about this one is that it's all that like
Right.
bombastic metal
Grand.
minus all their doom or slower leanings. Like they just kind of cut all that out.
Oh yeah, just completely excised it from the formula. But and I guess that this word is usually used to like knock things, but in this case, I'm not using it in that as a pejorative. Just that it is formulaic. Like it is a far more formulaic album than the first one. They're like, that first track really lays out a template for how most of the rest of the record's going to go.
Yeah, I think so. And the most of it, the rest of the album is all like very chorusy, kind of loud,
Right.
sing-along type songs. And it's all all over the top. It's all just a crazy riff after crazy riff. It's just and Jake's vocals on this one are just fucking like top notch. He's got to be like one of the better vocalists going right now, and probably all of metal, not just traditional metal. A lot of those guys have the chops; they have to do this. But
right, yeah, and he doesn't even like need the falsetto or super high. He's a little like more in the mid range, but man, he's so good at it, and he's just powerful, like a really powerful voice.
Right, that was kind of where I was got me thinking about the Dio thing. He's not as distinct as Dio, but Dio was good at that middle area. He wasn't so much a shrieker or a
right. Totally, and the like, I think you were the one that was talking about you couldn't get over just like all the whoa moments, and there are lots of them. Like fucking chanty.
Every single song has got either the whoa moments or the I don't know. It's not quite the warrior grunts, but it's that like every single song.
Yep.
It just fucking makes the whole thing every time.
Right. Yeah. So then, I think the second song, that's the first single they released, right? Warrior Queen wasn't the first song we got to hear off of it.
I believe that was the first one. Yeah.
Right. So that one when I was like already super sunk in by the time the record came out, but
yeah, but that song is clearly made for a live performance.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be one of the like mid performance songs, I think.
Right.
Because I mean, that song's made to be sung along with, especially at the end there when it's slower.
Right. And it also like, the cover art certainly seems to reflect the lyrical content of that song as well.
Right. The Warrior Queen.
Right. So yeah, kind of a centerpiece track.
Which is, about Warrior Queen, and it's fucking ridiculous lyrics. it's like becoming one of their staples. Like you can't just say
Right.
playing. It has to be the most like
Right.
lyrical way of saying something, the most ridiculous, over the top way of saying things. Like,
Right. Well, and speaking of ridiculous lyrics, it's probably the best way to transition into the next song because that song probably has the most ridiculous lyrics on the record.
the Highlander song,
Yep. The fucking Highlander song.
which I'll make a bold statement, might be better, or at least on par with the Queen Highlander song.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, dude, fucking. It took me a few listens before it really even like sunk in, and then when I think started singing the chorus out loud, I was like, oh holy shit, fucking about Highlander.
Same thing too. And yeah, I didn't. And I had to tell our other friend, I was like, "This song is about fucking Highlander." He's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, yes, it is."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they mentioned the quickening at some point in the lyrics.
They do.
But yeah, just another bombastic, fast, sing along, kick ass song.
Yeah, that one doesn't relent at all. It's just,
Nope. Yep. The opening riff on that track might be my favorite on the record. That riff is so good.
it's a great song. Great little like punch there. It's like one of the shorter songs on the
Right.
album. But most of the songs in this one are fairly mid-ranged.
Yeah, it was especially stacked up to the last record.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of like 9-10 minute long tracks in the first one.
Yeah. Then there's Hammer Forged is number 4, I believe. Hammer Forged, yeah.
Yep.
Which is, pretty much what it says it is. It's another one of those battle type songs.
Right. Well, I mean, those first 4 tracks really are together. They all have like pretty much the same vibe, and not the same vibe, but they're quick on the pacing, and track 5 is really where it kind of first gets broken up much at all.
Yeah, track 5 is the Trader's Gates, where they start off, not gonna say ballady, but very like minstrelly, I guess.
Right. It's reminiscent of Blood Sacrifice from the first record.
Yeah, it's a good comparison there. But I think Trader's Gate as a song is so grandiose and epic for no real reason that I can think of, because it's a simple premise. Like, some dude backstabbed him. Like, he's got a song now about how it's pained him. He's going to track this guy down and kill him. And he's like the opening part during the like quieter guitar part. Like, those lyrics are just outrageously epic, and they don't really mean anything. They're just like, dude, yeah.
Yeah, dude, and the faster part before it hits the chorus, the betrayers, deceivers, that fuck, dude.
Oh yeah, that's
like
probably my favorite song on the album, if not of the fucking year so far. It's so insane.
Right. It's like it's a fucking dangerous one to have in the car. Like, I can't not like rock the fuck out.
Oh, I know. This whole album has just been me driving around singing loud to this like a psycho. Like, if it was summertime, I'd probably get arrested or people. Yeah, it's like every line of it is like a weird. It's just like as dramatic and cheesy as they can possibly make it. It was my favorite one on there. Is I vomit a curse upon your name, or the Wraith. I'm the Wraith, the Reaver that rides on the cold winds of hate. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what does it have to do with anything in the song? Nothing. It's awesome because he can't say like I think you suck. It has to be I vomit a curse on your name, which is amazing. Which I
Right.
think kind of encapsulates this whole band.
Right. And man, the world would be so much better if everyone just spoke like that all the time.
Yeah. There's some line in that song about lighting a flame, murdering the night, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that song
It's
builds and builds and builds, and then like the release at the end where it's just like die, traitor, die. It's so fucking phenomenal.
yeah. It's super cathartic.
Yeah, it reminds me of Primordial in their prime when they're doing all those storytelling songs like
Right.
the Rome Burn stuff, kind of like that super like I don't know like battle kind of plot.
Right.
It's a good song. It's great.
Some some primordial fan just out there is calling you a blasphemer right now for even suggesting they're not still in their prime.
Yeah, not to say that. I mean, speaking of my favorite album of theirs, Primordial, I guess, is always in their prime. But
Right. Yeah, Trader's Gate. I think we're both. I think it's probably it's right in the middle of the record. That's. I think it's on purpose. It's pretty much the high point of the whole thing, of the whole affair.
I hope that that's a live song that they've been doing. I know
Yeah, I'll honestly be pretty crushed if it's not. Like,
yeah. Then I think it takes kind of a weird turn.
right.
They have all these loud and powerful and war calling like battle hymns, and then
Right.
they kind of go into like their like party rock mode. There's a similar
Right.
song. The last album, the Creature of Desire,
Right.
which is like
Even that one though.
What's that?
Even Creature of Desire was like a lot chuggier on the guitar.
Yeah.
Than Salt City is.
Yeah, I'm not saying these are either bad songs. I think both of them
right
have their purpose, but I think both of them are also like a slight distraction from what's going on.
Right.
Especially after how Trader's Gate ends, it's just like holy fuck, and then they're like, "Hey, we're from Salt Lake. Here's a song about it." I'm like, all right.
Right. Well,
and I know why you did it, and I bet you they play it every single time they play in Salt Lake. But
I would think so. But it was like it's very Thin Lizzy-y.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. But
and it is good. But they even like you were just we keep talking about like the ridiculous fantasy lyrics. They even kind of work on that. And the chorus line is like what he's talking about the mountains, and it, rather than just like by the mountains, it's like beneath the mountain throne or fucking like throne of what in Salt Lake, but like thrones are fucking metal, so it's a fucking throne now.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool party song. It's exactly what it is. It's very it's very Thin Lizzy-ish. It's very kind of boogie metal.
Yep.
But I know he's very enthusiastic about Salt Lake. I'm not. But
no, and like no offense, guys, but like I've been to your city, and it's like just not even a little bit high on my list of places to go back to anytime soon. So
you got a circle of awesome metal bands coming out of there, but
right.
I guess that's the price to pay to live there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't say it's the weakest song on there, but it's a different vibe, But they're good that too. I wouldn't want them to do a whole album like that or anything.
Right.
Maybe that could have came at the end.
Right. I don't know. But so then what? Blades in the Night is next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that middle part of that song is fucking ridiculously chuggy too.
Right. Yeah. It's I think that one it's like the sister song to Outlive Them All.
Yeah. It's another kind of not slower, faster, quicker punch song.
Yep.
Which is cool. It kind of reminds me of that Night Demon song, the something in the night. I forget what it's called now.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny you said that. I think the next words out of my mouth were going to be it's night demon-ish.
Yeah.
The chorus and the woes and the way they employ it in that particular instance.
Yeah, it's not as grand as some of the other
Right.
songs. It's a little more
Right.
like
It's a little rock and
a
roll.
combination between like the rockier side of Salt City and then like the
Right.
fantasy epic battle kind of side of them. Like if they took
Right.
those took the lyrics and put it on Salt City, that's Blades of the Night. Right, Blades of the Night.
Conqueror's Oath.
Yeah, and Conqueror's Oath, I think, is the holdout from the last album. I think that one could easily fit up in place in the last album.
Right.
It's got the
little longer, a little bit more of a trudge to it.
it's definitely the arcane mystic prophecy of this album.
Right.
And
See, and
go ahead.
this is we just like we've been hitting on it the whole time, but we haven't called it out expressly. Like this is why this band is so good because we've been able to talk about this record the entire time in context to the previous one, but they're still very different records.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
There's so much it's so much them, but they're able to do it completely differently and not lose a single bit of their essence.
Right. And I think they're trying to keep them related, at least in some capacity, because that little armored horn guy with the beard is on the artwork again.
Right.
He's not featured, he's like on the backside or something, but so I don't know. I mean, it sounds a little lofty. I don't know if they're trying to weave some kind of tale here or something, but I think they're totally trying to keep. I mean, there's something to be said about finding a sound or finding a visual or something and keeping it curated, so it remains similar. But I think they're kind of doing that. I think they're establishing a brand, a Visigoth brand, I guess.
Right. Completely agreed.
Which is like very Iron Maiden-y kind of thing, or I don't know.
Right, I get what you're saying. Fucking yeah, I just like there's no way this isn't going to be right at the top of our list this year.
I don't know. I'd like to hear what could dethrone it. As far as this genre is concerned, I think they just blew it right the fuck out of the water, and everyone else is going to be scrambling to even come close to this. It's like the Vector from 2 years ago, or it just totally demolished that genre, and everyone's probably just sitting there scratching their heads like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like,
right? Yeah, and no curse sophomore record, no slump there. Like fucking hit it out of the fucking park.
I was really kind of when they announced it before I heard the song, or before they announced it, we just knew that they were going to make another album eventually.
Right.
Because Revenant King was so good. I was like, I don't know how they're going to top this. If it's even as good as Revenant King, will be a fucking huge feat.
Right.
But it's like all the times you're listening to an album or something, you really like it, and you're like, that song was cool, but I wish it went on like this, or I wish they kept it going. Like this is an album full of that, like fulfilled. Like, there's no compromising.
Totally.
Never a part where you're like, yeah, I wish they kept going on that. It's like, no, they just do. Like, it's all wish fulfillment, or like,
no. Totally. Yeah, man. Fucking. There is. I mean, if it weren't for other bands like Panopticon, and in my case, Believe and Monster Magnet, if those records weren't coming out, it wouldn't even be a question. Like at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to say that Panopticon is going to best it because they're so vastly different.
Right.
But
yeah. Well, like I mean, you already said it. There's certainly nothing else in that genre for sure.
But yeah, I mean, Panopticon will probably end up number one. I'm almost considering not even putting it on there just because I always do. It's like just
Right.
it's a granted. There's a gimme at this point,
Right.
and it's not even the thing about Panopticon and Visigoth too is we're not just gushing fanboys either. This is really that fucking good.
Right.
I haven't seen anything to the negative about this Visigoth album. Like usually when things come out, the fans are like, "This is the best thing they've ever done ever," and then there's some like more critical reviews are like, "Well, no, hold on a second." Every review I've read of this has been like us, just like fucking gushing nerds. The one I read compared to like Empire Strikes Back and Godfather Part Two, and like
Right. Yeah, fucking even Angry Metal Guy like gave it a glowing review, and they're really fucking picky about anything trad power.
yeah,
I feel like they write about that shit half the time just so they have something to shit on. Like,
but it is a I don't know. I feel like it's not a genre because it's already been done before. It's just like a new group of people doing this kind of music. But
right. What a novel concept. It's like, oh, we can't even call it it's just heavy metal.
right,
Like weird.
but there is a lot of bands in this doing this particular kind of metal now,
Right.
which is cool. And but again, they can't hold a candle to this. And I like a lot of them too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
these are
Yep.
these guys are just taking it by the horns and ran off with it. And
Right. Sent it home crying.
yeah, and I hope that this one, because I felt like Reverend King came out and everyone loved it. I mean, we loved it, of course, but it didn't seem like they were getting much attention for it. They weren't
Right.
touring a whole lot. I mean, they play a lot in Salt Lake and Europe because, of course, these guys are fucking made for festivals. But
Right.
that show we saw them on, there was not that good a turnout. Which fucking
No.
blows my mind because I just feel like fools. You missed out on something amazing, and it only cost $100. You could have seen it all.
Yep. Well, we'll always have that, and when they do blow up, we'll have that over everybody. So ha.
Then we'll pull out our hipster cred and be like, I remember.
Right. Exactly.
Lammer Lounge with 7 other people.
Yep. Yeah, but I think they're going to. I've seen like way more press coverage this time around. I mean, and you know, Twitter was abuzz with it, and all the I've it just visually like seen it come across my screen more times, like
Right.
the name. So,
Well, if Twitter's a buzz.
right. Fucking Twitter.
So
yeah,
it's a good thing to have. I mean, I'm glad it came out at the beginning of the year because usually by the time I get to the end of the year, I forget all the shit that came out at the beginning of the year.
right.
But I have a hard time believing that I'm going to forget this. And it's going to go right back in my fucking car stereo next time I'm in my car and not come out, I'm sure, for a while. I even got this one even got Visigoth to get my girlfriend to like Visigoth when we went on a road trip a couple years ago. It kind of just started to ooze into her, I think, and then she really enjoyed it.
Oh wow, yeah. You told me she's not like crazy about a lot of metal, so
No, but she really enjoyed Visigoth.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Hasn't worked her magic on this new one yet, but I'm trying.
You'll get there. Persevere.
Yeah, I told her I think it might be better than the other one. She doesn't believe me that that's a thing that could happen. I'm like, I don't know, it might be.
Yeah, I've been forcing it on Allie as well, so I'm sure she's grateful. She's just dreading the fucking end of March when Will Haven and Monster Magnet come out. She's over there saying, "Oh Jesus Christ!" right now. Like, she knows that fucking I'm gonna just burn a hole straight through that Will Haven.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, well, fucking hey Visigoth, please come to Denver like 10 times now.
Right, like you could drive here in like 6 hours or something.
Right. See, we stayed home for I Hate God and Dark Funeral, but staying home for Visigoth is not an option, people. So
Yeah, yeah.
come. So, all right, then I guess we're all good there.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us geek out about fucking Visigoth for an hour.
Yeah, I think this was maybe even more gushing than the Blind Guardian episode. So
Yeah, and Blind Guardian has fucking, what, 10 albums, 12 albums under the belt for us to gush about? You guys have 2?
right. Well, yeah, I think we had to talk about all 10 of those. This one we just had to really focus on the 2. So
Yeah. And if that's all they wrote on Visigoth, then we would be fucking super lucky to have these 2 albums and we'll be satisfied completely.
yep, absolutely. But yeah, thanks. We're gonna try and be more regular about this. So thanks for listening, and we'll fucking do it again soon.
Yep.
All right, peace.